Oh, hey, y'all. Sunshine 1979. Got a case I'm going to bring to you here. This is take two. This is a case out of Tennessee. This was a teacher that was sexually harassing children. Allegedly, this has been going on since 2003. It's been reported since 2003, and this guy's still a teacher. So, this is Tennessee Holler that you see here on the screen. He is going to give us an amazing interview. I want to go ahead and explain the reason why we have the justice panel up here on the screen. I am protecting the identification of the two underage girls that are in this story. I do have permission to use this story, so I'm not exploiting any children. I do have that permission to get this story out there and to be a voice for these girls and to make sure that we can get their story out there and make sure people know what's going on in Tennessee. So again, guys, the justice panel here is there for the sake of the protection of the girls that are involved in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and start the interview, and I will go ahead and tell you ahead of time that he does have some audio issues, but as those of us on the YouTube streets know here, that people that are not used to coming up on panels or going up on lives don't actually all the time know what they're doing. So there is a little bit of an audio issue, but guys, I hope you can find it in your hearts to look past that and give these girls your ears and your attention. And as always, be a voice. If you see something, say something.
And this is a special interview here on the Holler. I'm Justin, the Holler co-founder. We're TNhollar.com is where you can find us, at the TNhollar on Twitter and Facebook. We're also at Cville Holler, Cookville Holler. We have regional hollers all throughout the state. One of them is Cookville Holler, and Cookville Holler has been covering a very important story here in Tennessee that is pertinent and relevant for everybody in our state. And we have some brave people here to help us talk about this today. First, let me just say hi, Carol Ann, Elizabeth Ann, Tanya, and Chloe. How are you guys today?
We're good.
Good.
Well, thank you for being here today. Thank you for speaking up bravely. Just for context for people who are just signing in now, they are in Overton County. These are students at Livingston Academy, and they have spoken up about a teacher named Mark Lee. I think we should name him, who is he was a Livingston Academy teacher. He has just finished serving a 90-day suspension, and he has decades of sexual harassment allegations going back all the way to 2003. The person who accused him in 2003 is not with us today, could not be with us today, but we have two students here today with us, Elizabeth Ann and Chloe, who have bravely spoken up. I guess I'm going to start with the daughters here. I'll start with, I think it was Tanya or Chloe first, right? So Chloe, if you could start by telling us what happened here. I know it's a longer story, but if you could give some context to a Mark Lee and how you came to speak out about what he was doing.
Well, it was just, I was a freshman, and I was placed in his class. And from the beginning, it was pretty normal. But then very soon he would make little comments that I wouldn't really think nothing of it. And then they progressed to comments that would really bother me. And, the other students would know that they were directed towards me. And they thought it was weird too. And I told my mom about it and everything. And then a school teacher actually came to me and asked me if he was saying inappropriate things to me, that he had caught wind of it from around the school. And I said, yeah, that I was actually going to talk to somebody about it that day, because that's what me and Mom had decided. And then he said, well, we're going to handle the issue right now, so let's go to the office. We went to the office, and they asked me the kinds of things that he said, and I told them, he would refer to me as the term fat, PHAT. That he liked to watch my mouth form words. That he liked his women little, and every now and again he wanted one with a little bit more. That he would make comments about how he had cheated on his wife in the past or things like that, and how he always liked to get around in college and his party days and things. And I told them all that, and their first question was to me was, well, are you dressing provocatively? I called my mom whenever I went up there, and they sent me back to class once she got there, and then called me up again later once she was gone. And then that was really the end of it. Then my mom took things into her own hands.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. And had you known about what Chloe had been through, and how much context did you have? And if you could tell us your own story, that would be great.
Yeah, before I even got in high school, everyone told me, like, when we found out we had classes, I was like, I have a month leave, which I had no idea who this man was. And everybody warned me that, he was going to make comments to me and stuff like that he's always done that, and that was normal there, evidently. And so, at the first one, I went and started his class. He really didn't say anything, and then he eased on into it, like, with little comments saying how my jeans made my butt look good, or what was it? Oh, he would look down my shirt at my breast, and it would just go into other stuff, and he got to the point where he would touch me. But one of the students that was in the class went to the office one day without anybody knowing and told the office about it. And they called the other students that was in the class with me, and they asked them about it, and they all agreed because everybody was saying that he done it in front of everybody. And they called me to the office, and they asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, that it happens a lot. And they told me, they was like, okay, you need to call your mom, which they didn't. So I called my mom myself and told her about everything that had happened, in which she called up there and made an appointment to come up there and talk to him or whatever. And they told us that they would take care of the situation, which they didn't, because he's still there and he's doing it. And I mean, that's pretty much it.
Well, as a father of a 4-year-old daughter, I can't imagine what this must be like for the parents. Moms, let's talk to you now for a minute. Carol Ann, what was your reaction when you heard, and what happened next?
I was heartbroken. I was just absolutely beside myself, me and my husband both. We couldn't believe that this had happened to our child. We had sent our child to school to be safe, and she wasn't. And I don't understand that to this day, why this happened to my sweet child.
Tanya, how about you when you heard from Chloe what was happening? I understand from, I think, your other daughter's statement on Facebook that they had pulled her into the office without you, and that you had to rush over there and put a stop to that. What was going through your mind?
I was mortified, like any parent would be. Who expects that to happen to their child, especially somewhere that they're supposed to be safe and protected? And frankly, they weren't. They aren't. And what's even more mind-blowing is the fact that we went through every avenue, every course we were supposed to take in reporting it to everyone that we were supposed to report it to, and still no one did nothing. They just ignored it. Nothing. For months and months and months and months, until we finally gave up. Because you don't know what avenue to go to. And then here we are. It happens again. And no one can explain to you why they did nothing and why they don't do anything.
Well, let's drill down on that for a minute. I know that you reported it. My understanding is you signed an affidavit, you filled out an affidavit, Chloe, and so did other girls, including a police officer's daughter, saying that they had heard him saying these things. What did the school do?
They pulled me from his class and they put me into another teacher's class. And they told me that I didn't need to go to the bathroom on his side of the school because it might disturb his class. So that meant, and I had to walk, to the whole entire other side of the building just to use the bathroom. That one time he was put in my testing room as the teacher, and they pulled me from the class and stuck me in another class and said that they didn't want that to be another disturbance or any other issues brought up.
So they were blaming you, essentially.
That's what they made it seem like, whether that was their intentions or not.
Right. So it's up to you to stay away from him. You as not to say this insultingly, but legally speaking, you're a child, you're not an adult, and they put the responsibility on you to avoid this man rather than do anything about it. I think it's worth, for context, understanding that there is a relationship between him and, I'm a little confused about it, but the principal is or was his cousin. And
in Chloe's situation, the current principal now was not the principal.
okay.
It
But-
wasn't the same office faculty then.
But the principal now, Elizabeth Ann, is Mark Lee's cousin. Is that right? Are they frozen? I can't tell if they're frozen. They're very lifelike if they're frozen. They're frozen in a very lifelike position. Okay. Well, there's a relationship between Mark Lee and administration. Also,
I think they are related, the current principal and Mr. Lee.
and then there's also something about the director of schools is married to a former student. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, there might be something systemic about the attitude towards, students and girls. And, we have seen this in the state legislature. There is a man named Rep. David Byrd who apologized on tape for having relations with 3 accusers, and he is still being protected. He's still a state legislator. He's running for re-election after saying he wouldn't. So there's sort of a level of protectionism going on and excuses being made about these situations. What do you? Yeah, sorry.
There is, to a certain matter, but the one thing that I really feel like needs to be said here is that the current principal now, Mr. Melton, is the only one in 3 years who reached out to ask me what happened to my child. To ask me after he was faced with what Elizabeth was going through, to ask me what my daughter went through. Because he inherited the problem, I feel like, but he actually listened and was the one who gave the initial suspension, though the relation or not.
So he did get suspended, and now what is the school board doing about this? I understand that he was going to be reassigned to an elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
There was backlash to that idea. We've tried to help fuel that backlash fire. It sounds like they're reconsidering that, but he is still a teacher. Do you have a sense of what the school board can do? I know that there was an investigation. They didn't charge him with anything. What can be done?
It's my understanding, a school board member finally made contact with me after the school board meeting that night to explain to me that once the investigation was complete with the TBI, and the district attorney, Bryant Dunaway, that then it was back into the school board's hands. And they were to report the complaints to the state of Tennessee over the board. In which, had that happened, if even it had happened in Chloe's case, once that happens, his file is flagged to say that he's under investigation for whatever, inappropriate behavior, whatever, which means, from what they explained to me, that he cannot go to another school or district and apply for a teaching position, because once they check the background, it shows that he is flagged and under investigation. That if he does want to remain teaching, it has to be in this same district, and wherever they've chosen to move him until whatever findings or investigation is complete, because he is a tenured teacher. I understand. They tell me it's very hard to do anything with the situation. So that's
that's hard. Like I'm all for unions. I believe in unions. I believe in job security, but there are certain things that should override that. And
exactly.
This is certainly one of them. He has been suspended for 90 days for this thing. And yet, despite being suspended, they're still letting him be a teacher. So, the idea that the school board is powerless, which I saw them sort of try to claim at the school board meeting, the idea that, the statute of limitations has run out, so the DA can't do anything, which I spoke to him, he said he was looking at it from a criminal perspective. Okay, but somebody needs to be able to do something to protect our children.
The thing about it is, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
The way it's been explained to me, anybody in that system can say anything they want to my little girl, your little girl, any little girl, whether it be appropriate or not. And it is not considered criminal because they are not adults.
Right, but
we're in the workforce, and these instances that happen, it's grounds for immediate dismissal.
Of course. And so it's like, I believe it was Michael said at the school board meeting, there's a difference between criminal and moral and what's right. And so if the DA, and I actually have this here, which the DA said, I wouldn't want my daughter in his classroom. The DA said that to me on the phone. If the DA is saying that and the school board suspended him, the idea that they are going to let this man have any contact with children of any sort, it's mortifying. They may not be able to lock him up.
It's absolutely wrong.
Right.
And so to protect our children.
Yeah.
That is, as mothers and fathers, that's their job, to protect our children. And that's what me and Tanya and my husband are trying to do here. They're not going to touch our little girls anymore. We're trying to protect everyone else's children. The children of Livingston County. And that people need to stand with us and help us and fight that school board and go to the meetings and do what they're supposed to do. And
as Carol Ann and I were talking about before we came on the air, by the way, there's a little crinkling, so I don't know if you guys can hear that too, but maybe you can mute your mic while you're not talking or something like that, just so we can get clean audio. But what we were talking about before we came on was, in these situations, and we saw it with Rep. David Byrd and Christy Rice, the main thing is to keep the pressure on. This isn't something that you just say one thing and then everybody jumps to it. No, this has to be a sustained effort to, bring people together, to shine a light on the situation, keep the pressure on people at these school board meetings. What you girls are doing right now, just even coming on here and being willing to tell your story. I mean, I live not in your county. I don't live in Overton County. I don't live where you live. I know it can't be easy to be doing this. I know you're in a situation where a lot of people probably know each other and know each other's business. This is not an easy thing for you all to be doing. And what makes it easier is when people come to support you. So, I hope that people will support you. What do you, Elizabeth Ann, what did you hope to achieve when you made that video speaking out about your situation, which couldn't have been easy to make?
Just so people would know what happened and know
Right.
that it's not something that you should take lightly, which they are.
Right. And what has the reaction been, Tanya or Carol Ann, in the area from people around you all? I know that there has been some backlash on Facebook, online. Sometimes those are the loudest. But what has been the general vibe in the people in your immediate vicinity? Have people been supportive?
I can say in our situation, we have had a lot of support, and a lot of people have been gracious and thankful that we have made it aware, just so you can keep an eye out for your children, and hopefully they're never faced with this, what our children were.
Carol Ann, how has the reaction been around you?
The same. People have been very gracious and very talking about how strong that the girls are and how proud they are of them. And I'm proud of both of all of them for coming forward, and everyone for coming forward. But there's been a lot of negativity too, and that comes with it. And I understand that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but it's heartbreaking. These are children that this is happening to, and this is wrong. This is wrong. What's happened to my child and to Tanya's child and to every girl out there, it's wrong. And it's got to stop.
Chloe and Elizabeth Ann, I know that we're in a pandemic right now. I don't think you've graduated, right? You're both still theoretically in school. Or Chloe, have you graduated?
I've graduated.
Okay.
We essentially pulled her out of school.
You pulled her out of school.
No one would protect her at school, and so she finished her high school years homeschooling and working.
Wow. Okay. And Elizabeth Ann, what grade are you in right now? If you were back at school, you're going to be a sophomore. How do you feel about the idea of going back to school in person? Do you feel more comfortable knowing that he won't be there, or do you feel like this is not a place that can protect you?
I mean, I feel comfortable. I mean, he's gone, so there isn't really anything to worry about.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, I appreciate you all being on here. I just want to give you each a chance now to sort of get your message out to maybe to the school board first and foremost, and also to people. How would you hope, what do you want to see happen? Carol Ann, why don't we start with you? What do you want to see happen next, and how can people help you make that happen?
I want to see people stand for these girls, and I want these girls. I want justice for these children. That's what I want. I want these children to be safe when they go to school and not have to worry about a predator. I want safety for the Overton County children.
That seems like a reasonable ask. Tanya, do you agree? Is that what we're looking for here? And does that come in the form of Mark Lee being fired?
I never want this to happen to another child again. That's our goal.
Chloe?
I don't think it's too much to ask. I really don't.
No, it certainly isn't.
Need to be safe.
Chloe, Elizabeth Ann, anything else you want to say? Would you have any final thoughts for people as we let you go here? I really do appreciate you both coming on here and being willing to talk. And, we have been involved in putting pressure on David Byrd at the legislature, and we will certainly help try to lift up this story as much as we can here at the Holler.
Thank you, Justin. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Chloe, sorry, do you have anything you want to say, Chloe, Elizabeth Ann, either of you?
I mean, all I think about is, people are asking or saying things that we're just trying to ruin his life and everything. And what about the embarrassment that we're causing his family and things like that? Well, you know, you have to understand that I come from a person who I am completely embarrassed of. So I understand where his kids, where they are supporting him, because I have a father who I would have wholeheartedly supported and said he didn't do the things that he did. So I understand that his family is completely defending him. And I understand that there are two sides to every story. But you also have to understand that
You have nothing to lie about.
there's nothing to lie about here. That why would someone want attention from a 50 or however old he is year old man? You know, don't you think that? I mean,
Yeah.
we would have picked someone, you know, that's not 50, that's actually attractive. You know, I mean, I'm not
Right.
trying to
Like this is some
but
coordinated effort by you all.
I mean, you know, just a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Well, again, I appreciate you all coming forward. You know, I think that the messages that get sent from the people in power are really important. And the message being sent right now from the school board and from the DA is that when teachers do this, nothing will happen to them. And that endangers not only you guys, but future children in our school systems, not just students of Mark Lee's, not just students at Livingston, but all throughout Tennessee. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we're fighting against, because we know for sure that Mark Lee is not the only one doing this in this state, you know, and so we do need to see some consequences. We do need to see some accountability. And the very small ask that these moms have is to see this man not be around kids anymore, and to see the community and the school board stand up and make sure that they can protect these kids. So thank you so much. Caroline, I'll give you the final word here if you have anything else you want to say, and then we'll let y'all go. Or Elizabeth. Ann.
I mean, there's really nothing else to say other than, I mean, the only really thing that bothers me about it is everybody on there, like Chloe said, like the negativity, saying that we're liars and stuff. Like, there's no reason for us to be lying about it. We don't want attention from this.
Right.
This will be the last thing that anyone would want attention from.
Right. Yeah, there's really no upside for you guys to do this. So please, anybody that's in the area, Overton County and the Livingston area or Livingston Academy area, stand with these girls, show up, put some pressure on the school board, the Overton County School Board, to make sure that Mark Lee is never around kids anymore. That's what needs to happen here. He already served a suspension for this. So they have admitted that there is something going on here, and now they need to take the next step and make sure that he's not in a position to ever do this again. And again, just as a final thought, I appreciate that you all are willing to stand here and do this, that you've been speaking up. Let us know how we can help. We're definitely, here to try to lift up stories exactly like this. At the TNhollar is us on Twitter, at Cville Holler on Twitter, Cookeville Holler on Facebook, and the Tennessee Holler on Facebook. Keep an eye on our pages for those stories, and you guys, it's an open door. If there's anything we can do, please let us know.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Justin.
Thank you all. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so that was Justin with Tennessee Holler. Now, I've got another video I want to share with you guys. And I'll take the Justice panel down in just a second. As soon as I get this loaded up here.
A school teacher, Mark Lee.
He would make comments about how my jeans made
Oh. Okay. So let me drop this panel. And this is public information. This is from Twitter. This is actually, I'm going to scroll up where you guys can see the Cookeville Holler. And I'll put all their links and everything in the description so you guys can check them out. Definitely go ahead on over and give them a follow if you're a Twitter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'm going to try to turn up the volume a little bit so that way I can make sure that the audio comes through good since it is Twitter.
Elizabeth was sexually harassed repeatedly by Livingston Academy school teacher Mark Lee.
He would make comments about how my jeans made my butt look good. He would stand behind me and look down my shirt at my breast.
Elizabeth Ann is not the first student to be sexually harassed by Mr. Lee.
Then it moved to the point where he would touch me more and more. One day he took me to the back of the classroom. He told everyone else to look forward. He pulled me towards him and he rubbed his head on my stomach.
Why did this happen to my child? Please do the right thing and remove him and make our children safe. Please, I beg you.
He was suspended 90 days.
So he's still a teacher. Because I've got a little girl in middle school. She's not going to be the next guinea pig.
Despite the faculty members knowing, the school decided to do nothing about it.
You are allowing this to happen. You're complicit in this.
DA did not find anything that could be prosecuted.
There's a difference between criminal charges.
I agree with you.
No, you don't. You're just sitting there telling me it's the total opposite. Is you're allowing him to still be a teacher.
He would always say sex with his wife wasn't good and how he would cheat on her. He didn't like skinny women during sex.
The state of Tennessee did not revoke his license.
Yeah.
We can be sued.
Would you rather have these parents sue you? For 20 years, when I was in high school, he was still acting that way.
And every year, a different girl comes forward with their story, but it always gets swept under the rug.
In 2017, that was my little girl, and I'm still waiting for an answer. I had to pull my daughter out of the school system.
Protect our children.
This is your job, is to keep us safe, and you're not doing it.
And by doing nothing, you're telling us that you don't believe them. They're all lying and making it up.
The board doesn't have the authority to investigate.
They most certainly do. So your position is that this board is impotent to protect these girls in this matter?
Nope.
Mr. Chairman, I'm instructing you not to answer that question. It's inflammatory.
It's inflammatory to the community of Overton County that our elected officials would rather have a Nashville attorney to tell us what's appropriate when we elected you to be our hearts.
I just want to remind everybody, we put them in power.
We're not getting any worse. I end this work session.
I decided to shine light on the situation to warn you that it could be you or your child next.
She's got some strong words. It could be your child next. So I want to definitely give Tennessee Holler here a big shout out. So we're going to take a look at their Facebook page. This is their Facebook page here. You can also find the video I just shared on here. My laptop, there we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like, TennesseeHoller.com. This was a year ago, guys, and I reached out. And did we have permission to share this? He actually was really excited and wanted me to share this. And for those of you that follow my channel, this is my Facebook, Lynn Johnson. It's under this is my channel Facebook. So you guys are welcome to hit up this Facebook, and it's definitely, I'll message you back if you have a case or something you want me to look at. If you just want to follow my channel and see all the cool groups that I follow and whatnot. This is not my personal Facebook page, by the way, guys. This is a channel page. Okay, so then I wanted to share their Twitter profile. And I'm not sure why that keeps coming up. Like I said, my internet's been wonky all night. So this is their Twitter page. And this was covered up by the Justice Panel, like I said, because I did want to go ahead and protect both girls' identity that were in that video. Just for my own purposes. You guys can go over and watch the full video, and of course I'll put the link in there and make sure that that you guys can navigate over. And make sure, like I said, if you're Twitter, head on over here and give them a follower. A follower in the holler, if you will. Okay, so this is their webpage, and again, also, as you guys know, I'll drop this link too, so you can go over here and head over here and check this out. This is the video of the interview we just listened to. This is the school board interview that we just watched on the Twitter page. If you go down through here, this is the details that we listened to in the actual interview that we listened to. And the cool thing about their page is they also have these hot links. So here is the lawsuit. So we'll go ahead and click that link. and it's going to take you to a Google document. And this Google document is going to be the actual lawsuit, and it's going to include messages. And I encourage you guys to head over and click on these links in the description and take a gander at these guys. It's 19 pages long, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But like I said, I will definitely include the link in the description. This is a short breakdown of what is in there. And like I said, guys, this is his website, their website. It's a group. So definitely head over and show them some love. They're not on YouTube, and actually going to reach out and let him know that he should probably jump over and become a part of our platform over here on YouTube as well, that get these stories out there. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. If you see something, say something. Be a voice. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child.